Okay.
All right, hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Arrow. My name is Tory Rush, and I'm going to be the host for this evening. My co-host is the beautiful and lovely Toni Cagliero, how do you say your last name?
Oh, it's Colangelo.
Colagio. I knew that. I was reading it, and I said Cagliero. I'm sorry. And then
Thank
we
you,
have
Tory, and hello, everyone.
We also have the beautiful and lovely Michele Villery. How are you tonight?
I'm awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm doing great.
So I was super shocked in this episode about a few things, and I think I'm going to do my top 10 right now so we can get right into the show. Yeah.
And everybody, today is Tori's birthday. We're not going to let her get away with not saying anything.
Yeah, I might be drinking. Just fair warning.
Yes, she's drinking. Yes.
All right, my top 10, my number 10 is where Pizza tried to convince Felicity to go fight for Ollie. Number 9, Ollie's trying to talk to Manio to the light side. He's trying to talk him into going with him instead of staying there. Number 8, Ray's saving the day by bringing down the plane because he kind of came out of nowhere. Number 7, Ollie telling John why he did it and why. Number 6, Malcolm betraying the gang to be part of the League. Number 5, Ollie faking being brainwashed. That was a pretty big deal. Number 4, Ollie getting married to that chick. What was that? Number 3, that gnarly fight scene where everybody was getting down. That was pretty awesome. Number 2, Titso killing Manio. That was a huge moment. And of course, the cliffhanger of number 1, Ollie leaving the gang after releasing the virus. That was pretty cold-hearted of him.
Yeah. Do you really think that was the virus, though?
No, I don't think it was. Never mind. If you saw the preview, then...
Yeah. But still, though, it was cold. I mean, he could have let somebody in on that.
Yes, he should have, instead of scaring the crap out of them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what were your favorite scenes?
Me or Toni?
Both of you.
My favorite was Tatio telling Felicity, don't give up on Ollie. That one, because she had given up too early on Masio.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite things about that whole thing. And Diggles, just beginning of it, where Diggles, that first scene where Diggles nearly kills that guy.
Yeah. That almost made it, but I was like, I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah. I felt very touched when she told him not to give up on Ollie, too, because that's like the hardest thing to do in a relationship is when you start giving up on the other person, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to do that because you believe in them so much and you know that person.
Yep.
And I think she knows him so well. And I was literally, even just rewatching it now, just saying I wanted to believe in him for her. And I was just rooting. I'm like, oh, Ollie, just tell her. Just tell her. Just something.
Yes, I agree with you. Is there any news of any of the characters this week?
Not that I know. But I saw Steven did something. I heard Steven did something really cool for somebody during Mother's Day. I don't know exactly what it was, but I heard he did something pretty cool.
Oh, cool. I didn't see that.
Yeah. He had Wizard World. This weekend, and I saw Katie did a panel this weekend. The lovely Katie Cassidy.
Oh. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, she looked lovely. She has a, you guys, she has a fashion line,
Yeah, I heard that too. I haven't seen any of the stuff yet, though.
I think she had some of it on at the Comic-Con.
Oh, okay.
It looked
Yes.
pretty. It looked pretty badass, to be honest. I liked it.
Okay, well, I guess let's get into the episode. Let's start out with when John almost killed that guy, and to try to fill in Ollie's shoes after grieving over the loss of him. He tried to step into his shoes and be the vigilante. I think he got a little too angry, though. What do you guys think?
I think, well, he's hurt, upset about that, but I think he's more on the angry side because of what Ollie did to John's wife by kidnapping her and using her as leverage, bait.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I do too.
Yeah. I mean, everybody grieves in different ways, so.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then, I guess what's coming up next is Ollie's sister leaving Sterling City for a while, and she tells Malcolm, and he agrees with that. I thought it might have been a good move for her.
Yeah, I thought it was too. I think she's been through a lot, and Malcolm is so toxic with regards to that whole thing, and I think it's good considering everything that she's been through that she got away.
Yeah, her and Roy meet.
I was a little surprised that Malcolm decided that was a good move for her, too. I thought he would try to stop her.
I think he's trying to protect her. You know, bottom line is that regardless of what he may actually think, I think deep down he does love her.
Yeah.
And I think he what's best for her. In his own deceitful way.
And then the one of the most surprising moments in the episode, Ollie was faking being brainwashed the whole time, and Malcolm was the one that came to help him. Out of everybody, I wouldn't have thought Malcolm was the one to come and get them, you know?
Mhm. We called that. We called that in a previous episode.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we didn't think that it was. We all agreed that we didn't think he really was brainwashed yet.
Yeah.
Just a little look that he would give, and like the panning of the camera, like there was a reason for it, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought this was an interesting little scene whenever Ollie and Malcolm were talking around the fire, and they almost get caught. Like, where'd he go? Funny too. Like, I just am having a hard time like seeing Malcolm as a good guy. I should have seen it. Like, why was he doing this? He has to be doing this for himself for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just to be a friend, you know, because he's not really Ollie's friend at all. And in the past, they had such a turbulent relationship. I'm just really surprised that he was willing to go that far. But we'll get into that a little later.
Okay.
All the flashbacks this episode were a little weird. Did you guys not think that they were weird?
For the first time, now normally I would think so, but for this episode, I didn't. I really liked them because they really, for me, they helped out with the story. You know, they explained why Tatsu and Masao, you know, what happened with them, and why things happened with them the way they did. This week I liked them.
They were done in a different way. And maybe it was the director or whatever, but like they fit more in tune with enhancing the story instead of having it almost like two different stories. I think that has a lot to do with it. But I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know. Do you know who directed this episode? I didn't look that up.
I can find out really quick. Hang on.
I thought that also that when Montio's son gets sick, that now I understand maybe why he went to the league a little bit more than I did. Like, because they were fighting for the same cause. And then all of a sudden it was like, you're still my buddy, but I'm evil now. Like, it just didn't fit his MO.
Yeah, it was directed by Wendy Stansler and written by, the story was by Eric Olson, and the teleplay was by Ben Solokowski and Brian Ford Sullivan.
Oh, okay. I didn't heard of this director before, but she's pretty good. I liked her.
Yeah, it was quite good.
So, I guess I was a little late to the party on understanding that guy Jason was actually Roy, because in my mind he didn't look like him. I don't know why. Like, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, she has a new love interest, and then I realized that was Roy, and I was like, oh, I was. I was like, oh yeah, that's what he looks like. And
I didn't know where he was. I don't know if Toni caught that. Did you know that she knew where he was? I didn't know that she knew where he was.
Maceo's? Were you talking about Maceo's?
No, Thea with Roy. Did you know that she knew where Roy was? I didn't know that she knew where Roy was.
No, I think Felicity gave her that information. Who was it that told her, Felicity or Laurel?
Oh, okay. I don't remember. Maybe I missed that then, or forgot.
Okay. That was like near the tail end of last week's episode.
Okay. Oh, I think it was Felicity. Okay. Yeah,
because she had a paper and she handed it to Thea while she was telling her all about what was going on with Roy.
Oh, that's right. It was Felicity.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay. And I was like, huh. I didn't know that she knew where he was, but I mean, I kind of was a little lost at first too, because when Felicity and Ray talked, he asked her to sign over a transfer of ownership, and I was like, a transfer of ownership to what? I was like, what am I missing here? Like,
oh, with Ray?
I'm about that myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious. I'm wondering if he's giving the business to her in case anything happened to him.
That's what I was wondering, and I'm wondering if that too. We do have some news with regards to the spinoff. Spinoff was picked up, and Brandon Routh will be a part of that spinoff. So I'm wondering if this is the catalyst for him giving that business to her, so he can go off and be the Atom.
Oh,
yeah.
Huh. That makes sense.
I just, yeah, it was announced this week that they were, the new series was picked up. So, yeah.
I want to say about the flashbacks. I know I can understand where you're coming from, like how weird they are. But remember, was it last week? No, it was the week before last week. How that flashback regarding that serum and everything, like, it was so drawn out. It didn't make its point like it does with all the other ones. But it's I like how the director did this time with the flashbacks and everything, because it's really like fitting together. How do you guys say it? it really fits for both situations, the past situation and the current situation. It's all related.
To me, it was like
Because
exactly what you're saying, Tony. It was very linear. It was very like in the past where it's very they were but then again we would see a flashback that didn't quite fit, or it would be at a weird time. This week the way that they all fell was
yes.
they were perfectly in pace. It was to me it was very linear how it went. I'm like, you know what, the way that this was directed and the way that the teleplay was written was quite good because it fit the story just really well, and I was able to like pick it up. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting, you kind of got where Tatsu was coming from and Maseo and what happened.
Yeah, and we had that aha moment last week. Like, that's why they were dragging that
Yes.
flashback scene through that whole other episode. Their flashback scenes are great. Just that one was just kind of drawn out. I was quite surprised, but all the flashbacks. This one.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're always great, but then, this. I'm like this year, like, were the flashbacks in the past always this like drawn out? I mean, I'm like, oh no, they usually have said something by then. As to
Well, bravo to the director for making things make sense. Then we leave off where Malcolm tries to tell Felicity and John that Oliver's faking it, and Tiesto comes out and tells them Malcolm is telling the truth, which is like, whoa, he's actually telling the truth, because I thought he was lying at first too, but it was actually true, but he was lying about it, and then later in the episode they would find out it was true, and then I think it would have been a little bit bigger than it actually was. Like, I don't know.
And that just and that just shows you how cool John Barrowman is.
Yeah, he plays that role very well.
Yeah, and then he tells them, like, if you believe me, come meet me. If not, I'll catch you guys later. I think he knew at that point there was only so much that he could say before it was a moot point, Like, I can see John's hesitancy, especially, and also Felicity, of course, too, because she didn't want to go back there at all.
Right. I totally don't. I totally don't blame him, considering how he is. I mean, he would be the last person that you would want to trust. But on the flip side, like we said last week, he would be the best person because no one would suspect him. He would be the last person that Ollie would confide in.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, I'm sure he was probably like, who's this guy coming in and saying something? And it's, like, come on now, like, you're gonna be the trustee of this information, the first trustee of this information? I don't think so. Like, maybe he was just mad because he wasn't the first one to find out what was going on too, Like, why is he his friend? And why the heck was Malcolm there anyway? Like, how did he even know that he was there?
I don't know. I figured that was crazy. That scene, he's like, hang on, and then boom, I'm like, oh, did he sense that? I mean, I was like, wow.
Or was he there to meet Roz because he wanted to be in the league, and it just happened to coincide with the time that Oliver was there, and he was like, hey, wait a minute, why is he here? And then he's that could have happened because he's already there on his personal business. Because like, this place isn't like everybody knows where it is, Like, this isn't like, oh, let's go to Fiji because that's where the league is, Like, I think that there's something more of like how Malcolm knew where Ollie was at all, let alone that. And then we go back to Thea and Jason hooking up after she gave him back his jacket. And then it made sense of why she had his jacket whenever I saw it again, and I was like, oh, okay. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, why is she giving him his jacket? He's just some hot guy she's hooking up with right now. I was so lost. Oh, gosh. I should be blonde, guys. This is not... And then everybody was on board with going back and trying to, you know, believe Ollie and, like, you know, help him out of there or whatever they needed to do. And Felicity was like, I'm not going back. I'm not doing it. And then the other chick talks to her and said, you have to fight for him. And that, like, was like, huh. You know, like I said before, in any relationship, you have to believe in the other person. And even though they weren't in a relationship, she obviously loves him. So she had to decide if she needed to tell him that or not. And all that craziness that happened last episode with them, she didn't really get a chance to tell him how she felt before they were whisked away. So I think she needs to tell him that. And then we go back to that weird scene where Roz gives his daughter a necklace he gave to her mother and tells her if he doesn't marry Oliver, he will kill her. Geez, I love you too, Dad, you know?
Gosh. He wins Father of the Year, doesn't he?
Oh, God! All right, I surrender, you know? Like, I couldn't see my dad doing that, but then again, he doesn't care that much. Then we have another good flashback. And then right before they decided to go, Felicity comes out, I was like, I'm going! And that was great, because I was really happy to see that. I had feels. I had the feels on that.
She had the feels!
The feels! Felicity made the right choice. And then the gnarly fight scene.
There we go.
It was great as they try to infiltrate. And Matthew tells his wife that he will kill her if they fight. And that was like, well, hello to you, darling, you know, like, that was a little intense, because he's so far gone now, and that's so sad, because if you see him in the flashback, you know, this is like, that's his wife, and they have so much history, and you can tell that they really loved each other, and I guess it just goes to show how powerful the league is, because he's just too far gone now.
Right, and I think it goes to show you, too, how far his grief for his son went. And
yeah.
Why he probably changed. That's what it was for me. I don't know if it was for anybody else, but it also helped me out in terms of why he changed the way he did, went so dark.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Then I like to call him Iron Man just because his character reminds me of Iron Man so much. Comes and saves the day by bringing the plane down. Very superhero-like, except that he made it crash, and now how the hell are they going to get out of there? That was a little
hard.
He can just fly them all home, you know.
It's great. Just feel it's okay.
And then his wife shows him by killing him instead of him killing her, I guess. Like, that takes a lot of how do I want to say it? Strength to do that, because she still loves him, you know? She still loved him, and it really sucks. So I was really, really sad because I didn't really want to see him go yet.
No, I didn't either, because there were glimpses of, I don't know if anybody else, there were some glimpses in him in previous episodes, even with the flashbacks, even without the flashbacks, glimpses of good in him.
Mhm.
It was sad.
Yeah, there was still a sliver of his former self in there, and I was really hoping that he would make it through that, you know? Like, I really was hoping that at some point he would snap out of it and realize that, you know, Oliver is telling the truth and he wants the best for him and that's the way to go, make himself happy again. And I think he was just so far lost that he forgot that he could actually be happy. He kept referring to it as being in his prison. And I felt that was a little emo. You know what I mean? Like, just a little bit. Like, come on, dude. But he was brainwashed, too. I don't think this guy's actually brainwashing anybody. I think in his head, he's just a very manipulative guy, and he convinces these people that's the way they should think, just like cult leaders do. Not necessarily that he's actually brainwashing them. You know, like, because they wouldn't remember anything of them former selves if they were brainwashed. Not to mention relationships and feelings and all that stuff. How can you be married to somebody just by not feeling anything for them? Like, that's a very weird thing, because marriage is full of love, and he wants his daughter to marry Oliver, and she obviously doesn't want to. She's fighting tooth and nail to not have him not be married to him, fits in his face. You know, she's like really mean to Ollie. So like, I don't know if he has any magical powers or if he's just very manipulative. What do you guys think?
A little bit of both, mostly manipulative. But Ollie fought that. Ollie,
Yeah.
I knew Ollie wasn't going to let that control him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, he's always been a little slimy to me. But what about you, Michelle? What do you think?
I think that it's both, and I you know, he's just, I think, more manipulative than magic. I think he's fought the magic, and I think Ollie sees through the BS with him too. But I just think that he is. Some people are good at reading people, and I just think that he's one that plays it on both ends and watches people and attempts to figure out what they're doing, and then will just go right in and then adjust it to the way it will work for him and his needs.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, he's definitely not a nice guy.
Mm-mm.
Let's be honest. So I think that, like, just like cult leaders, though, like, they can convince massive amount of people to do something that they want them to do, even though it makes no sense to do it. Like Charles Manson or any of the other manipulative, evil people in the world. Mm-hmm. Tom Jones, you know, like, these people had that ability to convince anybody to do anything, which in a positive light that would be great, but they're doing it in a very negative, self-serving way. This benefits him the most, so that's what he's trying to convince everybody that it benefits them, even though it doesn't. That's very hard to do. I mean, you got to give him props for that.
Yeah.
You know, like, at least he has the ability to do something like that. Not that it's right, just that he has the ability.
Exactly. The power of persuasion. It's good and bad.
It is good and bad. But then the gang gets caught, of course, because how can it be a good story unless they get caught and they have to get out of there? And Roz talks to the guy about the virus, and Oliver makes Felicity believe he was going to marry someone else, which is horrible because you can see how crushed she was. And it must hurt Ollie, too. having to tell her that, you know, like, he obviously has feelings for her. But they're down there, and it really sucks. Like, I don't like Oliver like this. He needs to get the hell out of here and become Ollie again. Because he's not a nice guy right now. I don't like this dark side of Oliver. And it must be so hard as, like, a person to, like, have to act that well and convince Roz that he's still part of his world, and yes, he is brainwashed, and yes, you know, this is a very trivial and trying time for him to not get emotional, which is probably the hardest thing to do whenever it deals with everybody that you really care about, you know? But he did tell John why he did what he did, and why, like, you know, like, why he felt the need to be kidnapping his wife and really hurting him as a friend, like what his message behind that was. Because I think John needed to know that. Like, that was something that he owed him. You know what I mean? Like, there was no, if he was ever going to remain friends with him after all this, he needed to tell him that right then. Be like, I'm not brainwashed. I'm really sorry why I did this, but you have to believe in me right now. I'm a little shitty, but I'll get over it, and you'll see why. And it was probably real. I can see why John was still so pissed off at him, though.
Well, yeah, he kidnapped his wife. He lied to him. He didn't trust him enough to tell him what was going on. He went to the, probably in John's eyes, the worst person that you can probably entrust anything to. All this.
I've been pissed that Malcolm knew before him.
Yeah.
He had to.
I totally get where Diggle's coming from.
And then it revealed that Malcolm betrayed them all to be a selfish little asshole and try to get into the league by himself. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's not surprising because we know Malcolm and we know what kind of...
Can I bring up something with regards to that? I'm going to ask you guys this too. When Malcolm did that, I was just as angry as everybody else, but then I thought of something. Maybe this was a plan within a plan. Maybe Malcolm, and Ali talked about this, maybe this is Malcolm's other way. If he can get in, maybe he can get in deeper to figure out what else is going on to tell Ollie, and maybe that could be even more to take down Rob. I don't know. I don't know.
It makes sense because he was part of them before. He was trained by them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So wait, I want to know what happened to him to get kicked out of the league.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a good question. Actually, I was thinking of that too. For his notorious ways, maybe? His notorious side?
Did they ever talk about why he was kicked out? I'm trying to remember.
I'm wondering if that's like a plot point in future episodes. Like, they'll go into the history in another episode, but it really wasn't brought up this episode. Or maybe they wanted to make you wonder why is he trying to get back in? If he was kicked out or whatever, why would Rye even give him the opportunity to speak to him about it? Like,
I'm wondering if it's because he may have had, well, I don't know about the word jealousy, but I'm thinking maybe it's because, Sarah got into the league. She was, Nissa found her, and trained her and got her into the league. Maybe that kind of set him off for being the way that he is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Yeah. That would be probably why.
I mean, maybe that's why things are being said that Sarah may be coming back.
Yeah.
Flashbacks? No.
Yeah.
I'm just stepping away, guys.
Okay. And then, let's see. Ollie tries to convince Raw that he's loyal to him and only him because the question of loyalty was brought up again. And, of course, I mean, that's like that must be really hard to convince somebody that you hate that you're loyal to them, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good acting right there, you know, like, regardless.
Like I said, kudos this entire episode. I mean, they've all were really on their game, but I would say the MVP to me in this episode was Barrowman. Just plain and simple. I mean, he's always amazing in anything he does, but he's been kicking ass as Malcolm. Plain and simple. And Steven, actually, kudos to Steven actually this week too. Steven, he was just vile this weekend. This week.
Yeah, he was. I mean, now, like, I don't know if they had to fill in space or they were just grazing Cynthia and Roy, that storyline this episode. But it seemed to be like a pretty big deal of what was going on between those two, and it seems like it wasn't covered enough.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see that. We're clearly not going to be done with the league in this season. We're obviously going to be seeing something next year with them. I don't think that this is over because obviously there was a wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering then if we'll see and know more about it next season. And then we got the Flash tomorrow too. We have the whole crossover thing going on.
Yes. Yes.
That's going to be it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm really excited about that because I think it's going to answer or will it answer a lot of questions.
Or will it bring up more? Like, yeah.
Or more. Because I think really, by Barry doing that, I just think that it messed everything up. I don't know if I don't know if he can even, if he's able to fix it. I'm afraid things are going to get even more complicated, to be honest.
Yeah, because it ended up becoming more complicated for him.
Mm-hmm.
When he somehow went back, and you saw that when he went back before that time when all those changes happened, which were for good, but it didn't happen. It turned out in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And this is a little bit of news. I guess Steven did say to somebody that they like to do the crossover episodes. They're going to continue to do them. So.
Oh, good.
I just remembered that. I'm like, you know what? Steven did say something. What am I missing? They're going to be doing more crossovers because they work out really well. Oh, and the Vampire Diaries guys said something about Supernatural that was so funny.
Oh?
Yeah, they said that Paul Wesley said he and Ian want Dean and Sam to take out the Vampire Diaries guys when the show is over. just like Jensen has said in a con like a few months ago. I'm like, that needs to happen when the show is over. Now because Steven mentioned crossover, I'm wondering if they will do the Supernatural crossover.
Oh, with Arrow?
Arrow and Supernatural.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Are you saying both Arrow and Supernatural?
Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey, Steven brought it up. He brought up the idea. He brings up so many ideas, and he's getting what he's asking for or what he
Yeah.
wants. So I
Yeah.
think he's going to get this. And to
I
make
think
it,
he's going to get what he wants. I think it's going to happen, to be honest.
yeah, and making it fan fiction is a good way of going about it. He's right about that. I mean, it could go either way. Like it could be, they could be thrown back into an alternative dimension, like in God, why can't I forget these? Why can't I remember these episodes? The French Mistake,
Yep.
something like that, or a dream.
Yeah. Yep, they could totally do it because Dean is the comic guy. They can do it. I mean, they can have it within a dream. Within a dream, they can go so many ways with that and make that go. That'll be such a fun episode. Speaking of crossover, Steven also mentioned they Constantine was canceled, so they're trying to set up a new, trying to get Constantine on a new network. NBC canceled it, and one of the things that everyone's pushing for, including myself, is Constantine being put on the CW because it makes absolute sense. He's a part of that universe. Why isn't he on there? Why did NBC have that in the
Try to
first
get
place?
that on there. They really should.
Yeah, either that or Netflix, because you know what? I'm to the point where I'm like, NBC, with the exception of Heroes, cannot do anything like that. They're just not set up like that.
No.
Yeah.
I would Heroes would have continued on. I mean, did you know they were very popular in Italy? The TV show Heroes?
Yeah, I do, and you know, and you know what? The whole thing about ratings, and somebody brought this up over the weekend too. I think Jim Michaels did, in talking about all the CW shows. Ratings, and to be honest, they don't matter so much anymore. The old way of those guys doing ratings, because we have the advent of Netflix, we have people using the CW apps and DVRs. I mean, they do count those per se as how they do things, but apparently Arrow, one of the best things why they keep renewing these shows, even though a lot of people don't get the CW, is they're internationally, these shows are so popular. Constantine was huge internationally. So it's like, that's why everybody's like, save Constantine, including me. I was even doing the hashtag on the Indie Geek, save Constantine. And Stephen Amell even said, you bring Constantine here to the CW, I will guest star on. And I'm like, oh, another crossover.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I only know a little bit about
it fits. It fits.
Mhm. I wonder if that's the reason that they canceled Constantine.
Yeah, and probably that is why. And I even said this today too. They're putting Sleepy Hollow. Fox is putting Sleepy Hollow. This is another one. Fox is putting Sleepy Hollow against Scandal this fall. For heaven's sake, are you on crack? Why are you going to put that show on across from one of the best shows on television? That's just like bringing it to slaughter. It's like bringing the lamb to slaughter. Someone hates that show there.
I mean, I like Sleepy Hollow, but I could go without it if there was a better show to fill in its spot.
Well, why don't they put it on I heard they got a new executive producer. I didn't have a chance to watch it this season, but I watched the first season. I liked it a lot. But this season, I heard they got a new executive producer. But move it on another night, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Or bring it again. That's another one. Bring it to the CW. I've been to the CW. Would kick ass with that.
Yeah, but there's so many writers that have been on that show for a while. Like, they'd have to bring the writers over and everything to make it even a similar story. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes what happens is if another network picks up a show, they either are very successful with it or they completely bomb and get it canceled again. Because it's not anything like what it was before. You know, like.
In Sleepy Hollow's case, maybe that's a good thing.
It's like when Becky was a different Becky in Roseanne, you know?
Right. Right.
The first thing that comes into my head. But so Thea's all excited about seeing Roy again, and then he just leaves, and he leaves with a jacket. What a slap in the face! Why is this girl in love with him still? You know what I mean? Like, he bails on her. It was like he came back to get some sex, and then he left. You know, it was like, all right, well, and then leaves her car there. It just leaves a note. What kind of douchebag does that? You know?
That scene, I was just like, no, he kidding, why again?
Yeah, he's part of this whole douchebag breaking up via text message crap, you know, like. But so then that's it. Like, that's all we see for the rest of the episode about those two, and it was all sad and stuff. And then we come back from commercial break, and Oliver releases the virus, and then just leaves. What the hell is up with that? You know,
and then
like,
you're begging him. I was literally like, yeah. I'm like, Oliver, you know, fess up. Say something to them. I was literally almost throwing stuff at the TV. I was like so mad at him. I'm like, say something. I know that you're not really doing this to them, but tell them. You need to tell them what's going on. Maybe you can trust them. Chances are somebody's not going to say anything. I don't know. I was just mad.
yeah,
and again, it was like Oliver's face was like stone. I'm like, I'm really not liking you this whole episode.
the poker face was pissing me off. I was like, come on, show some feeling. Like, whatever you have to do. The only time he showed any compassion was whenever he was talking about not being brainwashed, whenever he returned back to his normal self. Right. Then he was like, oh, okay, but this new guy, we can call him quasi-evil Oliver.
I'm like, even for Felicity, like a hand gesture, a wink, or something. I was like, do something.
Yes, just give this poor girl like a little bit of a signal that this is all fake.
Right.
And then the last flashback was a mind blower. That there was no cure for this virus. I mean, they kidnapped, you know, this guy, and he's like, oh, you know, there's not even a cure, ha ha ha.
But is that guy lying?
Yeah, he has every reason to lie, I guess. I guess it's like going to be one of those questions where when it comes up to play, that it's either going to work or it's not work, you know? Like, that'll be like a cliffhanger in a future episode. And then Ollie gets married. I know.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
That really pissed me off. Like I said, I'm saying it. That just pissed me off.
Yep, I agree. Ah! This whole episode was a little frustrating for me. Yeah. I don't know for any of you guys.
It was great, but I just wanted to slap Oliver.
Me too. He was kind of a the whole time.
I mean, I know why he's doing it. I get it. And he could have at least said something to Felicity. If anything, or do something. I mean, he told Diggles. I mean, you know, I don't know after this what tailspin that this is going to put Felicity in.
Yeah.
And how when this is all said and done, how he's going to mend stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I
don't want to be him next season.
What do you think, Toni?
Say that last part because it's hard to hear. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. What about you? What do you think?
before that, a little bit before that.
Oh, about him getting married. What do you think about it?
Oh, well, I think he's doing it. He has to play the charades. I think there's a lot of reasons. He wants to protect his friends. He wants to protect his city. Um, I know deep down inside he doesn't want to do it, but he's doing what he has to do. I mean, if we're talking about and here I go with the past again, but if we're talking about Oliver Queen before he went through that whole 5 years of what he went through, he wouldn't have been able to pull this off. He's learned so much from what he's been through the 5 years.
That's true. Very true.
How to pull pressure off. You know what I mean? I know he's hurting. I know he didn't want to do this. I know he's probably crying inside like I can't believe I'm doing this to Felicity, but I have to do this. He's trying to save his friends and his sister, his city, and hopefully to try to stop whatever Roz is planning for the city with that chemical that they're trying to use.
Yeah, I can see that totally.
I have mixed feelings about it, but I think it's heartbreaking, but you got to do what you have to do.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's anything in life, man. So let's spoil it a little bit, because if you watch the show, then you should have watched the preview. I don't know, can you pull up the preview for this next week's episode?
Yeah, let's see if I can do it. Yep, and it is called I Am Oliver Queen.
Which is a great title to it.
Let me see. Nope. Let me see.
I think that sometimes, I'll talk about this once we watch the episode.
Okay.
Or not the episode, the preview.
English shouldn't really be dead by now. I saved your lives. I believe the words that were before. I'm sure Oliver's got this. I wouldn't call him. He needs you guys. All instruments. My dad had friends. He had time to step over. It's one life. My last thing you will ever see is your beloved city, succumb to disease and death. No!
So obviously we know that the gang makes it.
That was.
Like, that ruined anything. They ruined that little cliffhanger.
I have to say, what Roz looks like in that part where he's got that black hood draped over him. What did they call Darth Vader's? It was his teacher. Who was that guy? Sith?
Yeah, the Revenge of the Sith.
Sith, yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he reminded me of. Right when I just saw that, I said, "Oh my God, that is so Star Wars."
Yeah, he's definitely Darth Maul. All he needed was a red and black face.
I was just saying when I saw the Flash, I'm like, oh, the Flash! Oh, yes!
You know what's so funny about Star Wars? One thing that's really funny about Star Wars is my sister was the one that was really, really into it. And I never realized how much I actually picked up from her about learning about it until I encountered other Star Wars nerds. And then I realized that I'm one of them.
Oh, I'm such a Star Wars geek. When I saw that trailer with Chewie, saying Chewie, we're home, I was like, ah! If anybody follows me on Facebook, they would have known. I posted that all over the place. I was like, ah!
Well, I guess I went through this episode pretty fast, but I guess we can wrap it up because I don't know, maybe I didn't get chatty enough. I don't know. Either way.
No, we're actually right at the hour.
Yay! I did it! All right. Tony, where's your...
Okay. I have a question. Being that I want to catch back up on Constantine, and maybe the viewers may want to know what we're talking about if they're not familiar with Constantine.
Right.
Do you know where we can find it, such as Netflix or other sites?
You can find Constantine right now. I do believe it's on NBC still. Give me 1 second. And everybody, if you want to save the show, everybody, including myself, I've done it a few times on the Indie Geek. The hashtag for is Constantine is Save Constantine. Literally all in words. Literally Save Constantine. And hang on, I will show you. Going on to NBC. I'm just saying Constantine to see if I can get it. Constantine is on right now Hulu Plus.
Ah, wonderful.
And I'm seeing too if it is also still on NBC site. Also, for everybody. So if you guys want to still stream it, you can. Because I know that they had their upfronts today. So I'm on NBC's site right now. Let me just see. Shucks. Let me just see. Constantly. Hang on.
Well, while you're doing that, I have to say, Stephen, do all that you can. Bring the show to CW, and definitely
I know.
I think it'll work.
Yeah, I don't think that the show is on NBC at the moment. The Bad Judges, and they canceled. When did they canceled Bad Judge like months ago? But you can find that. Thanks a lot.
What?
They canceled. No, Constantine isn't up, the current show, but they still have Bad Judge up. That's yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. And they canceled Bad Judge literally 2 weeks, I think, after it ended. So I think Constantine at this part. I'm so mad at NBC for even doing that when they probably knew it wasn't a right fit for them, but they gave it a go anyway. It belongs on another network. You know? Yeah. So it is on Hulu Plus. It is on Google Play. It looks like it is on Hulu. So so definitely everybody use that. I saw William Shatner use it. I've seen I think Mark Shepard used it. You know, some of the Supernatural guys did, which they're in the UK right now, but a lot of the Arrow people did. I think almost that entire cast did. And everybody was tweeting, including myself, to the CW, because I think that would be the perfect home for it. And to me, I think that Mark Pedowitz, for some reason, I just think that he, in that whole crew there, just know the way heroes fit. And they know how superheroes work. So I just think that that's a perfect place for them. Netflix is also a great home for that. great home for them. And I would even say, too, maybe Amazon is. No one's ever stopped and thought about Amazon. I think that the time for traditional ratings, whether they do ratings, is gone. I think that they need to look at another system and maybe, look at how well, for example, Daredevil did, House of Cards, when they Netflix puts out entire seasons. Maybe it's time for them to do that for these shows.
I think Netflix is definitely setting the stage for the next generation of ratings and everything. I think they
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, and Amazon does the same thing. They put out their whole season, entire shows. I think, more or less, I think it's time the networks do something like that. Or maybe if they can't do that, maybe take a cue from AMC and say, hey, what about doing 9, without you having to interrupt with a holiday this and 2-month, lapse here. We get half the episodes here in the fall, half the episodes toward the end of the year without any interruption.
Yeah, because so many people like to binge watch too.
Yeah, people are binge watching shows now. That's the thing to do. I mean, I do it all the time. So I just need to say that because I had a chance to watch Constantine. I don't know if you guys had a chance to. I watched the first couple of episodes very recently before I even heard it was being canceled, and I really dug it. And it was too bad because I was always doing other things, so I didn't have a chance to watch it. So I'm playing, during the summer, I tend to play catch-up with shows on my DVR or binge watch them.
I'm playing catch-up also, too. Yeah, it's hard, trying to work and trying to catch up on all those shows, depending whether you have a DVR or not,
Right. Whether you have an app or Netflix or Hulu, because Hulu, you can binge watch those too, because they'll have them stored and, or one of the apps will, or Netflix when it goes on, so.
Well, I think that this is a great show, and I'm really excited about the season finale next week.
Yes. I'm excited.
Me too. Toni, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter for right now at DrummerGirl71.
Yay! What about you, Michelle? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on my personal Twitter account, which is Better of Roses 2001. You can find me on the Indie Geeks Twitter account, which is the Indie Geek. The Indie Geek Nation has been awesome this entire weekend. I love you guys. The Indie Geek Nation is growing at a rapid rate. We had a great time live tweeting about a few cons going on, and I, talked to a lot of you guys about Arrow and Supernatural, and it was a bunch of fun. So looking forward to more of that in the future. And you guys can reach me on my personal account, my personal Facebook account, which is Michele Villery, and also my author page, which is Ty Langston.
Yay! We're gonna have to do some more about your work soon.
One of these days, I know my release dates, I pushed them back. The Indie Geek, people don't know, I left my day job about 2 months ago to really start the Indie Geek kind of community and to do some writing. And the Indie Geek, over the last, I say, couple of months, I'm really proud of all of us. We're starting to really gather up steam, and it's growing at such a rapid rate. I'm really proud of it. That what it's become and what it's growing to be. And it's been really cool meeting everybody and interacting with everyone. We are looking for bloggers, you guys. So if you guys are looking, we want to hear what your thoughts are on some of these shows, because we have a lot of cool things coming up on our podcast. We have a lot of stuff coming up on Beyond Arrow and Beyond Supernatural. Gosh, Beyond Arrow starts after our original episode. We start Beyond Arrow rewind, I guess, in about a week or two. So that's going to be a lot of fun going back in time, talking about Arrow in the early days of Oliver Queen. And we'll probably do some Flash stuff, because I think we should do some Flash stuff.
I do. I really love that show, too.
I do, too.
And you guys can find me on several places. You can find me on Twitter, on my personal Twitter, at Rush Tory, that's T-O-R-Y. You can also find me in my Facebook group, The Infectious Walking Dead, at facebook.com/The Infectious Walking Dead. You can also catch me on Instagram at _The Infectious, and our website, www.infectiouswalkingdead.com. I really want to thank everybody for listening. We had a great time tonight. I hope you did too. We'll be back next week for the season finale. Yay! Oh, woo! Time.
Some crazy times, y'all.
Oh, and our time now is going to be Mondays at 8 p.m.
Yes, so join us on Mondays, you guys. We'll be back with the Indie Geek on Thursday, and we'll be back with Beyond Supernatural on Friday.